Hey, we're on.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this meeting of the Smiths Falls Police Service Board for Wednesday, September 18th. My name is Sean Panko. I'm the chair of the board and will be chairing today's meeting. We'll open the meeting with our land acknowledgement. On July 17th, 2024, we acknowledge that the sacred land in which Smiths Falls is now located has been a site of human activity for over 10,000 years and is rich in Indigenous history. This land is the ancestral and unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation. We're also grateful to the Algonquin ancestors who cared for the land and water in order that we might meet here today. We're also grateful to the Algonquin people, excuse me, for their contribution in the making of the Rideau Canal, which runs through Smiths Falls. We're mindful of broken covenants and the need to reconcile with all our relations. Together, may we care for this land and each other, drawing on the strength of our mutual history of nation building through peace and friendship, being mindful of generations to come. Just a couple of remarks myself today, especially a couple of amendments. I'll leave that to later for the agenda. Just a reminder to the board that we have thematic training we have to complete. I think it's about 6 hours online training, similar to the method we followed before back in April. This has to be done by September 30th. I'm sure we will all have it done by the end of the month. As well, I just want to welcome our new Deputy Chief, Chris Kettle. Welcome, Deputy Chief Kettle. We're thrilled to have you on board. We went through a process this summer after, of course, hiring Chief Empey to find our next Deputy Chief. Chris comes with great experience from the OPP, decided that retirement was not as attractive as he may have thought it was, and decided that he'd be much happier coming serving as our Deputy Chief. So we're very happy to have you here, Chris, and pleased to have you here today as well in each meeting going forward. At that, I'll turn it over to Chief Empey, who has a few remarks to make as well.
Thank you, Chair Panko. I just wanted to mention Chief's commendation that I did last month for 3 of our staff members, Constable Mike Hart, Constable Carling Fraser, and Pam DeLorme, who's our communicator. We had a difficult 911 call of a young person that wanted to end their life and was almost successful. And thankfully, the quick response of our officers, it happened not far, just steps away from our police service, which was more troubling for us. But thankfully, that person did make the call, and life-saving skills had to be done to revive this person. And we are happy to say that this person is fine and seeking treatment and help. But without the actions of our officers and certainly of our communicator, Pam DeLorme, who stayed calm and kept the person on the line and alerted the officers and found out where this person was located, the quick response helped have a positive end to it. So I just want to say how thankful I am of our staff. And the calls that they've had this past month have been very challenging and difficult. Our mental health calls with repeat people have been alarming. Certainly the MCERT team as well has been down members. They've only had one MCERT person for both services. So it sounds like they're upping their staffing a bit and getting some folks hired. And we're hoping to hear about that MCERT grant coming up, because we know how important it is to have that connection with our team and not just having the officers responding. So hopefully that's going to pick up a bit. But I just want to let the chair know about and the board about that particular troubling incident. Now, on a happier note, I wanted to make sure that I introduced to the board our 2 newest recruits. We have Constable Clay Blanchard and Constable Sean Keoghan, or Ben Keoghan. I'm looking at Sean. Is he Ben? Ben, don't worry, I won't be getting into that as we go on in your career. Both of them have worked really hard. Ben is a graduate of Humber College criminal justice program. He's an avid hockey player, and he's going to bring a lot of experience. He worked in the borders and as well as worked as a special constable. Clay Blanchard came from this area as well. He's a graduate of Trent University in forensic science as well as sociology. He's also an avid hockey player, outdoors person, and both of them did really well at the police college. I'm happy to say that their grades were excellent and they seemed to have a great time. So they're excited to hit the ground here and do some more training. Of course, they have to do the thematic training as well before the end of the month too, that they're going to have to do, and some other training that we have for them. And then they'll be with a coach officer for the rest of the year. And then they'll be on their own probably in January 2025. So welcome.
Like we should clap.
Sure.
Yes, you can clap. And then with me here is we've got our newest special constable, and why this is unique is because Ashley Ferrier, she's from the Perth area. This was our first time of having a special under the new act. It was quite a daunting task, I'm sure, for her, as well as for the officers. It was a team of officers from Brockville, Gann, and Smith Falls, and they put their training together to facilitate this 3-week intensive program for specials. Whereas before, there was no training at all. They just went through our use of force training and some in-service training, but certainly weren't trained to the level that they are now. So Ashley is going to be able to support our officers with Highway Traffic Act, with summonses, with prisoner care and control. There's a number of other things that she's going to be able to help with. She comes from a wealth of experience as well. What I admire most about Ashley is she was a stay-at-home mom. She's now a single mom, but she's in her 4th year of university, which is a daunting task on its own, as well as taking care of 2 girls who are here to support her, as well as their parents. So Ashley, you can say a few words, of course, but we're very happy to have you, very excited to get you started. And it was always an interest of her, and it's just great for us to have. So Sean, the chair of the board, is going to appoint you, so come on up.
Great to have you here, Ashley. And your certificate of appointment as special constable for the Smith Falls Police Service. So pursuant to the provisions of Section 92 of the Community Safety and Policing Act, the appointment of Ashley Ferrier, special constable, performing the duties of searching, guarding, and controlling our prisoners, providing security at premises or places occupied or utilized as courts or police facilities, service of legal documents, execution of warrants, other court orders, service of summonses and subpoenas, collecting DNA samples and fingerprints and photographing prisoners, transportation of prisoners, of course, in Smith Falls, to the Smith Falls Police Service. As a peace officer and police officer, so the powers that are contained in the following legislation: Highway Traffic Act, Liquor License and Control Act, Mental Health Act, Motorized Snow Vehicles Act, Trespass to Property Act, Youth Criminal Justice Act, and the Cannabis Control Act. And of course, as a special constable, you do not carry a firearm, does not permit the use of a baton, does not permit the carriage of the Caspian spray. But we're very happy to have you on board. And like I said, officially on board September 24th will be your first day. We know this has been a bit of a journey to get here. We know, again, under the new act, a much greater requirement for training, which I think in the long run, definitely make sure you're more prepared when you hit the road running. So congratulations, very happy to have you on board.
Thank you so much.
Great to see your family here too.
I'd like to present you with your badge. Congratulations. Oh, yes, of course.
Look at that.
I didn't know if you wanted a quick picture with the recruits or not. It's up to
Sure,
you.
yeah, that's good.
Okay, quick picture.
Of course.
Adjust myself here, yeah.
You guys can come if you'd like. Picture, sure.
All right, should have done one more.
What do you guys want to?
You guys want to gather?
Looking at the guys being like, oh,
I didn't wear my suit today, so I don't know.
yeah, we'll all look dressed down.
It's all right, just big shoes and shorts.
Just think.
Okay.
No,
Let me see the legs.
no, I drive. I'll come
Yeah,
over
maybe
here.
you put the waist up.
Yeah, right there, buddy, all pal,
Casual
all you want me to
shoes.
see you there, dog between these two thorns.
Oh, there's the wide angle. I knew it was coming. Thanks to Dauber.
Okay, let's.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank
Awesome.
Do you want to voice out?
Oh, Ashley, come on in.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Try to keep my
Yes.
badge on.
Why don't you scoot to the side?
Okay.
Right in the middle there,
Try to
yeah.
keep better than normal, but still, it's normal.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, see ya.
Thank you, guys. Great to have you on board.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Congratulations.
Nice to meet
sir.
you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Welcome. Thank you.
Congratulations. Welcome.
And that's not even, yeah, Richard.
Okay, we're still live, so we're gonna proceed.
Something they don't know. Yeah. At 65, you should know better.
True. Thank you, everyone. Take care, everybody.
Thank
Nice to see you.
you.
Thanks so much.
Take pictures outside with the family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
4-year or your 4th year of university, that's pretty impressive.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
I know, it's amazing.
Bird of the midnight oil.
Yeah,
Very impressive.
okay,
Lucky. That's great.
all right. Constable Ben Keoghan. Constable Sean Keoghan.
Younger, older. There'll be a
Okay.
decade
How about
in
senior?
there.
Just senior and junior.
Yes.
Okay.
Thing too, so.
Okay, back to me.
Yes, back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Number 4.
Just a few amendments to our agenda. Please note, in camera, we're going to take item C, code of conduct under the CSPA, move that into open session. We'll make that, let's say, new business F. And then want to add a few additional in-camera sessions. We'll make C, CSPA equipment. We'll add F, negotiations, and we'll add G, HR staffing. I believe that is all the amendments to the agenda. A motion to approve the agenda. Moved by Jen, second by Chris. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. I'll ask for any declaration of interest, conflict of interest, pecuniary interest. I see none. So we have a number of in-camera items. I need a motion to move in camera. The Smith Falls Police Service Board move in camera to discuss items pertaining to intimate financial or personal matters or other matters may be disclosed of such a nature having regard to the circumstances of the desirability of avoiding their disclosure in the interest of any person affected or in the public interest outweighs the desirability of adhering to the principle that proceedings be open to the public in accordance with section 35(4)(b) of the Police Services Act. Motion to move in camera moved by Rob, seconded by Chris McGuire. All in favor? Okay, we'll move in camera. It will likely be a while for those who are watching remotely.
the chair has a couple of things. And then it's gonna be code of conduct is gonna be the first thing.
Code of conduct is first.
Yeah, it will be.
The PowerPoint.
Okay,
one?
we're back.
Okay,
We're live.
we're back from our in-camera sessions. We had a number of in-camera items, including the identifiable individual staffing, identifiable individuals HR update. We had CSPA equipment update. We had discussion on proceeds of crime. We passing per camera minutes. We discussed negotiations and HR staffing matter. Moving ahead with our open session agenda, we have no correspondence. We have a motion for consideration of the minutes arising from the previous meeting, July 17th. Motion for approval, moved by Rob and Chris. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Business arising from the previous meeting, budget monitor for July and August. Chief Empey.
So we're still doing fine with the budget. We're a little bit high and on some office supplies. I had to get some office chairs replaced. They were quite damaged, and that was in our communications center and Sargent area. But otherwise, that hopefully will offset with some grant funding that I was going to be utilizing for that, for the office supplies. Aside from that, because I compared it actually to July and August last year, our budget, everything is stable. There's nothing that had struck out to me as being over budget. We had some salary buyouts and negotiations that, for example, in the contract with Smith Falls Association, they're 97% within the OPP salary. OPP just settled their contract at just about a month ago, so there was some payouts to officers for that increase of salary. That went into our 2023, although it's showing in my 2024 salary line, it's going into our 2023 budget line, and it's still, we were at a surplus with all the payouts for our civilian and officer staff. As well as 2024, there was a 1% increase in salaries. That started at the beginning of the year. That was some back pay. That is in my salary line now, but we're still under from August of last year. And I think that has offset from the WSIB salary recovery that we get, as well as we haven't had a deputy chief since January, which you're not paying that salary, but it was budgeted for as well. So we're good with all of our other lines. The overtime was still riding a bit high, but that was some training as well as some sickness that we had over the summer. But again, it offsets in some of our salary recovery line. So other than that, we're good with everything else, subject to any questions for the 2 months.
Any questions by board members? No, thank you. Moving ahead into new business, budget planning for 2025, please.
So looking ahead for 2025, looking at in my capital expensive IT infrastructure, I've noticed a lot of deficiencies for our IT support in our servers and things that we need to upgrade going forward for 2025. So that's in the plan, as well as a new Intoxilizer. We're looking at a Intoxilizer 9000. It's an upgrade for the Intoxilizer 8000 that's being replaced across the province. Looking at pricing of that is approximately $12,000 to replace it, but it is in need. Our Intoxilizer right now is in for repairs, and to find parts for the 8000 Intoxilizer is difficult, and most services are going to the Intoxilizer 9000. So our breath techs will also be trained in that 9000. Other than that, operationally, we're looking at purchasing a couple new rifles for our cruisers, as well as a new gun that we're going to need to supplement the firearms that we carry on us. Other than that, there's nothing large as far as an expense, just our regular operational. But that's what we're looking ahead to getting that rolling, which I have already started doing. So.
Questions, comments? Okay, thank you. Moving forward, policies for the board under the new CSPA. So we have a few policies, a couple policies, I should say, I guess, which we need to bring into practice and approve. One being the Smiths Police Service Board Diversity Plan, and hope everyone had an opportunity to review the plan put together by Chief Empey. Ask for comments or questions.
If I could touch on that diversity plan, just looking ahead for what the board has for their plan. Number 3 is youth and policing. And I've reached out to ministry contact in getting a Yippee service and program going for the town. I think it would be a great addition to having students in the summer that would work with our police service. It's a paid job that they would have in the summer. It's an 8-week program, and it's funded by the government. So I'm just waiting to hear back to see if we're approved. I've asked for 4 students, and I thought they would be helpful with all the events that go on in town, that they could help the DBIA or Chamber of Commerce or tourism with events that go on here. And I know that they're always looking for volunteers or support. So there's a lot of things that Yippee students can do, and it also makes them, sometimes it's their first time job. They start at 15 to 18. And what we usually go towards is perhaps kids that are in the WAC programs or a more diverse population of our community. It gives them an opportunity to work and engage with us in a positive manner. So I'm just waiting to hear back to see if we're successful with that. So just to highlight your diversity plan.
What are you calling it? Yippee?
Yippee. So it's youth and policing initiatives. So just to kind of guide them in. Yeah, it's a highlight, a way for especially youths that maybe are going in the wrong direction or putting them in a positive direction, giving them something to do and a job to have for the summer. And I had to jump on it now because I think the funding is starting now in the fall to get that ready for the summer. So hopefully we'll be successful with it. I think it would be a great addition to our service and to the community having that.
Excellent. So really, just to read the opening paragraph for the plan, the Smiths Falls Police Service Board is committed to attracting a skilled workforce that reflects the community we serve. Recognizing the changing demographics across the municipality, the board and police service have given careful consideration to equity, diversity and inclusion principles and practices for a number of years. Better representation is one way to help foster the delivery of effective, sensitive service within the town of Smiths Falls and to build and maintain trust and confidence of the people from diverse backgrounds. So the CSPA requires the board to prepare and adopt a diversity plan for the service, and this fulfills that requirement. And the board is committed to the strategic goal, which the Smiths Falls Police Service continues to strive towards innovative and modernized ways of policing by not only adapting to the changes in our community, but also responding by upgrades to technology, support for victims, evidence-based decision-making, ensuring internal skills, training, and activities meet the needs of our community. And the objective, of course, is to continue to develop a representative, empowered, adaptable, skilled workforce. So everyone had a chance to review this. Just ask for a motion for approval. Moved by Jen, seconded by Chris. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. The second new policy is our extreme incident response plan. Again, these were distributed ahead of time, but the policy statement for this policy aligns with the provincial extreme incident response plan as approved by the Ministry of Solicitor General in November 2023, as described in Ontario Regulation 39/23, adequate and effective policing in general. Smiths Falls Police Service Board, the board is steadfast in its commitment to implementing a systematic, unified, and efficient response to any extreme incident. Our dedication extends to fulfilling all stipulations outlined within the provincial extreme incident response plan, ensuring comprehensive preparedness and effective crisis management. So I'm not going to read the whole report, of course. Hope everyone's had a chance to review it.
We're going to post them on our website as well under the board policies, so it'll be public to show your policies.
Chief, do you want to comment any further on this?
This just goes in line with our policies to do with active attackers or any extreme incidents that we have in town, just to have a set policy that the board implements, but we also implement for our service. So it's just to stay on the same page as the board does. So it'll be posted on the website. All the board's policies are public, and we'll get these up today.
Okay,
So once you approve it.
thank you. Motion for approval. Chris and Rob, all in favor? That too is carried. Thank you. Special constable appointment. We did that earlier in the meeting when we appointed Ashley Ferrier as special constable. Section 19 agreement motion, I believe.
Yeah, and you had the two of them from Kingston and from Gann. Yeah.
So since our last meeting, we have requests for the Section 19 agreements from Gananoque regarding an Outlaws biker gang rally that was in Gananoque on September 13th. And also requests from the Kingston Police Service for the Queen's Homecoming, October 18th to 20th. So under the new act, essentially, they make the formal request from board chair to board chair. And then in these instances, I went to the chief to confirm that we had the capacity to support these requests. And she indicated so, went ahead and signed off on those, especially considering one has already happened. But so essentially, it's the board providing authority to the chair or vice chair to approve these requests when they do come in. So I'm going to read the following recommendation. Be it resolved that the Smith Falls Police Service Board delegates by resolution the authority to the chair of the Police Service Board or the vice chair in their absence for the purposes of Section 19 of the CSBA when requesting temporary assistance. Further, the Smith Falls Police Service Board delegates by resolution the chair of the Police Service Board or the vice chair in their absence to approve such requests that are received from another police service for the Smith Falls Police Service to provide temporary assistance. And further, the board who requests or approves assistance will do so after consulting the chief of police or designate who will provide the current operational need or capacity to provide such assistance. Further, the board who is a delegate of such authority will bring back to the board a report at the next regular meeting with the circumstances of such request to be passed by resolution. Further, the board member who is a delegate of such authority will comply with all notifications to the IOP as per the CSBA and set timeframes. So just looking for a motion for approval or any questions?
Do we get subsidized for that, or it comes out of our pocket?
No. So if you want to explain how that
So
works,
if it was something major that we would have to commit for a longer term, there is salary recovery. However, when we help services back and forth, I always say if I help them for one shift, if we needed them for something, a big event here, that they would be good to help us for a shift. So we take the salary, but at the end of the day, what usually works is, say, for example, we had Constable Brett, his shift just changed to go to Gananoque to support them. So sometimes it is out of our overtime budget, but that is a one-off, like the homecomings, for example, or the Outlaw Friday the 13th, that's a one-off. So it's usually supported both ways. But if it is something that is a longer term, then we would ask for salary recovery from the other service.
Good. I just like
Yeah.
Kingston. I have no issue with.
Yeah.
Chief Fraser helped us out, and
Yep.
we certainly owe him back for sure.
Yeah.
motion for approval. Moved by Rob, seconded by Jen. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And Rob, you want to sign off and pass it on to Stephanie? Okay. At a budget ALPR unit for the new cruiser.
So we had the new cruiser implemented. However, one of the pieces that is missing is an ALPR unit. Previously, the chief was able to apply and receive grant funding for our automated license plate readers that are in all the cruisers. They've been very beneficial for our service. It's called a hot list. There's a lot of training that officers have to go through, and security and freedom of information policies and procedures in place on what we can and can't do with these license plate readers. However, we've seen the benefit of having them in our cruisers, not just to have the camera for transparency and for public accountability, but also for having these license plate readers, whether it's for stolen plates, stolen vehicles. You can flag plates for if you have a missing person, for example, human trafficking. We utilize it for if the cruiser drives around hotels, for example, because if, say, another jurisdiction, they have a high-risk human trafficking victim or high-risk or a trafficking offender, they will put their license plates on hot lists, we call them. So it will drive through, they'll go through hundreds of plates a minute, or, you know, it's quite a valuable tool for us to get suspended drivers to stolen vehicles. And we've seen a lot of success for these license plate readers. The unfortunate part that this part wasn't budgeted for. However, right now, I'm about 15,000 under budget on the cruiser itself and all the parts that we've had to put into it and additional software that Ford has provided to hook up this light bar that we didn't know about, but I think it's all included. I haven't been told there's an expense to it, but I'll advise if there is. But overall in the budget, I know that I could fit it in there. It's just going to be over budget on equipment expenses, but it's about $20,000 to get this ALPR, but it is a very important tool to have for victims of crime especially, and having them in each of our cruisers, we've seen a benefit tenfold in whether it's Highway Traffic Act offenses or criminal offenses, and getting the high-risk offenders off the road and high-risk drivers as well off the road, prohibited drivers, stolen vehicles. It's been a benefit for a number of reasons. So I just need the board approval for the ALPR.
Are we adding another vehicle to the fleet?
Yeah, so we had approval for the new cruiser for this year's budget, but the ALPR that was budgeted, it wasn't budgeted for this cruiser. There was grant funding that was available. I still am going to look to see if I can use future grants that will. A lot of grants go from, say, March until the following year. So if you were to purchase something now, there might be an opportunity for me to get that funding back through another grant. I'm always looking for ways of obviously cost-saving measures, and this could be one that I hopefully could use, but the ALPR grants are no longer available to get. So I can't add it to this new car without asking for additional expense. But overall, we're still under budget. We budgeted $80,000 for the car. We're at about $64,000 with all the installation that had to be done to upgrade or outfit the cruiser. So, and then there's still room in my operating budget to absorb the cost of the ALPR.
Further questions or comments? I guess it's a very vital piece of equipment that does make a difference.
It does, yeah.
And we would not really want a cruiser out there that is not equipped with it.
So budget-wise, it's pretty much flat.
It is, yeah, because there are items that I'm under budget in, including even in some salary. I know overall it'll absorb into the budget, and I'm under budget capital. I know that usually it comes out of the operating portion, but I know I'll be able to absorb it in the budget. And certainly if there is grant funding coming up that I know of to do victim support, I don't know if I can include an ALPR in it, but I will. I absolutely will look to see when we go forward, even if the grants don't start till 2025, a lot of times they'll backdate the grants that you can use the funding for it. So
does every OPP cruiser have one? That I could maybe.
You know what? I don't know if every OPP cruiser has one.
Not every, no. Specific traffic cars do.
Okay, motion for approval? Jen, Chris, all in favor? That's carried, thank you.
Your turn, Deputy.
So let's go to
Steph,
yes, the
sorry.
code of conduct for the new CSPA. We're going to receive a copy of the new code of conduct. Now, there's not much to discuss here other than we all have to make sure that we read it and sign off on it. So we don't have a signature page here, but maybe Stephanie, if you can get that organized and to us. So for the code of conduct, if you can get a copy to each of us for signature, we would all make sure we commit to our code of conduct. I'm sure that will be required, right?
Yeah.
have a copy, but
I'll
nothing.
touch. That's after the up. Oh, that's next.
Yeah.
Geez, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So we all will commit to that. It's simply a matter of us signing off on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
We could type.
It's up to you. Yeah.
We could have it all typed up and signed as a And then.
Just to confirm for the
So there's a code of
education
conduct.
requirement, that's just into our own portal, like our own login.
Yes.
That's there and it needs to be completed by the 30th.
Yes.
Is that the one?
Always remember your ID and password.
I have it.
Okay, there we
I
go.
have lots of
Yeah,
stuff.
this should be good stuff. Can you go to the next?
Okay. Moving forward, operational report.
Oh, no, sorry,
Oh,
we're doing
sorry.
code of conduct.
Oh,
Number F?
Yeah.
yes.
Number F.
Serve.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, can you go
Okay.
to the next slide? Does it work? So, part of the roles and responsibilities and code of conduct, I put it all into one for the Police Services Board. The diversity plan, which the board has done. Police record check is essential for board members to have prepared within the 12 months before appointment on the board. So if you haven't done so, if you could just put your completed one to your board secretary. And then every member must prescribe to the code of conduct. So your duties are to employ members of the police service, appoint members of the police service as officers and special constables, which you had the nice job to do today, which is always positive to see the face with the names. Recruit and appoint chief of police and deputy chiefs, which you've had done. So
It's a busy
you've had
year.
very busy months and years. Prepare and adopt the diversity plan to ensure members of our service reflect the diversity of the area. Monitor the chief's performance, conduct a review of the chief's performance annually, and monitor the chief's performance in handling discipline within the service, and that's one of the policies that the board has to have. Ensuring that our police facilities, including our police lockup cell areas owned by the board, prescribe to the standards and perform such duties as assigned. You shall establish policies respecting the administration of our service, provision of adequate and effective policing, disclosure of the chief of police regarding personal information about individuals, disclosure of secondary activities under Section 89 and decisions from the board, handling discipline within the service, identification of members of the police service for legal costs, and board shall prepare and adopt a strategic plan for the provisions of policing, which shall address a number of issues as in the Section 39, which are good for a couple of years on your strategic plan, unless you wanted to upgrade it to reflect the new act. The police board shall not make policies with respect to specific investigations, conduct of specific operations, management or discipline of specific officers or other matters, require a member to do something or refrain from doing something where this would be inconsistent with their duties under this act, and prohibit a member of the police service from attempting to collect information for the purpose of investigating an offense or assisting with prosecution of an offense. Members shall not conduct themselves in manners that undermines or likely to undermine public trust. A member shall not be subject to discipline for contravening Section 1. So there's a lot of subsection 1s that we can post as well. Members shall comply with the act and the regulations. Members shall not by act or omission fail to comply with the act or regulations made under it. So if you just say, I wasn't aware of it, that's not acceptable under the new code of conduct under the CSPA. A member of the police board shall comply with any rules, procedures, and bylaw of the PSB. A member shall conduct themselves in a professional, respectful manner, including without limitation, not use of or insulting language in the course of their duties. A member shall not knowingly make false statements pertaining to the duties of a member of the PSB. A member shall not purport to speak on behalf of the PSB unless authorized by the board to do so. And a member shall clearly indicate when they are expressing a personal opinion, when commenting on an action or omission of the PSB, the police service maintained by the board, or a member of the service. Members shall not access, collect, use, alter, retain, destroy, or disclose any personal information that has been obtained by or made available to the member in their course of their duties, if doing so would be contrary to law. Members shall not disclose to the public information obtained or made available in the course of their duties except as authorized by the PSB or as required by law. Members shall attend all PSB meetings unless able to provide a reasonable explanation for the absence, and that would be to your board secretary. Member of the PSB shall disclose any conduct of another member of the PSB that the member reasonably believes constitutes misconduct to the chair, or if it involves the chair, to the Inspector General. A member of the PSB shall disclose any charges laid against them under the Criminal Code, Controlled Drug and Substance Act, Cannabis Act. A member shall not apply for employment with the police service unless they resign from the board before applying. So if you want to become a police officer, you have to.
No, thank you.
Members shall promptly disclose any conflict of interest to the chair. Disclosure then made at the next PSB meeting, and members shall not use their position as a member to benefit themselves, one or more persons whom they have a relationship with, or interfere with the administration of justice. A member shall not participate in discussion or voting with respect to matters at the police service if there's a conflict. Yeah. So there is the code of conduct in a nutshell. We'll have it all typed up and sent to as well.
One of the issues I had was regarding the cells. We're supposed to be responsible, make sure they meet code. I find that above our not pay grade. I'm not going to use the word pay grade, but expertise. Maybe I might have some expertise building OPP stations, but I don't think that's a fair statement for us to be responsible for if the cells are properly this, that,
Yeah.
ligature points, and everything else. Like,
Yeah, I mean, obviously to take a tour of our cells and see is what I would encourage. And we, both the deputy and I can show
we
you
have
our
the key.
cells.
If we're
And
going to
that
go to a tour, can I have
and
the
then-
keys?
I could put you in and close it. No, but we obviously are standardized, but certainly it is the board's responsibility to come and see our facility, to take a look at our lockup. I know Sean and Chris had a tour before. I think Rob, you've toured through, but anytime you want to tour and see our cell area, we'll show you our cells, but it does prescribe to the standardized.
We built it years ago, but many
Yeah.
years
Yes,
ago.
that's
Probably
right.
take,
Yeah.
Maybe we better check.
Yeah.
Maybe better check it then.
Okay, any further comments or questions here? Okay, so we'll look forward to all committing to our code of conduct. Thank you.
Hopefully, and this is really, if you want to do that as well, it's right there.
Just at the end?
Yep, sure.
And just go April to June numbers? I'll have to go back to it. Or do you want the whole, like, convenient here?
Yeah, it's just the 3 month. It's just the April to June. Yep.
Okay, welcome Deputy Chief Kettle. We got your first inaugural report with the service.
Oh,
No pressure.
stressed. It's been a lengthy meeting, so I will try to get through this fairly quickly for everybody's sake. So very, very quickly, our calls for service for July were at 717, and for August we're 741, so slight increase. Noteworthy calls for service for July. Overall, there were 131 criminal charges laid. Inuit partner violent cases were 20, assaults 6, no break and enters, 8 bail violations, 2 sexual assaults. Mental health related calls, we had 26. 19% of those calls related in apprehensions, with about a 46-minute average with wait time at the hospital while those situations are dealt with, the highest being about 2 hours and 14 minutes. Noteworthy calls for August, overall there were 82 criminal charges laid. IPV calls were 17 of those, assaults 9, bail violations 8, break and enters were 6. 4 of those break and enters were solved, and 2 are still ongoing investigations. 6 warrants were executed. Mental health related calls, we had 26 with again a 19% apprehension rate with about an hour and 10-minute wait time, the longest with being over 5 hours, unfortunately one occasion. And we were short staffed with our MCERT as well. Uniform traffic enforcement, traffic complaints, and STEP for July, we had 30 collisions, 30 traffic complaints, varying complaints, 67 vehicle stops, 30 charges were laid. Charges laid relating to speed, stop signs, lights, failing to yield, drive under suspension, careless driving, and then handheld device situations. 4 charges were issued under the Compulsory Automobile Insurance Act. And the STEP target was impaired related offenses, and ride was conducted throughout shift, as well as 3 rides set up with 13 Highway Traffic Act warnings issued during those ride programs. August, we had 16 collisions, 46 complaints, traffic complaints, 71 vehicle stops. There was 63 charges laid under the Highway Traffic Act relating to speed, disobey stop sign, novice drivers, blood alcohol above 0, and fail to yield to traffic. 7 charges were laid under the Compulsory Automobile Insurance Act. For August criminal traffic, there's 13 charges laid for criminal-related traffic offenses, including 2 possession for the purpose of trafficking, proceeds of crime under $5,000, operation of motor vehicle while impaired, flight from police, drive vehicle with cannabis readily available, and carrying control of a motor vehicle with alcohol. Proactive policing report for July, 31 hours in foot patrol. Obviously, given it's summer, there was no school visits. Community service, we had 27 hours. Bike patrol constituted 16 hours. And officers conducted regular patrol for community events such as Rib Fest. Proactive patrol for August, there was 32 hours. Again, 0 school visits. And 10 hours conducted with community service and camps, etc. 6 hours of bike patrol, and this was due to short staffing over the summer hours and holidays. Officers conducted regular patrol at community events such as movies in the park and the street party. From the criminal investigation branch and CISO for July, missing person investigations that are currently ongoing obviously involved a number of hours with our officers. Serious follow-up to an intimate partner violent case that involved warrants being drafted for cell phones to get evidence. We received information on a kilogram of cocaine that was ultimately destined to come to Smith Falls, and through the officers' work and working collaboratively with other police agencies, they were able to intercept at Calypso Water Park, where charges were laid and a female was arrested. So, good news story there. Serious bail violation case where offenders kept being released on bail and reoffending. Further investigation of allegation of assaults and sexual assaults. And bike patrol was conducted by our officer for Canada Day events. Continuing on with the criminal investigations branch report, there was a drug warrant that was executed on Lanark Street. Large fraud at a law firm is being worked on. Robbery investigation, continuing in the arson investigation from Smith Falls Avenue, and assisting New Brunswick RCMP with the sexual assault interviews for a case that they're collaborating on. The victim residing in this area. For August, continuing to investigate the missing persons file. Of note, I've been assigned now to take over lead for the Smith Falls end, and I have point of that, have reached out to both detective inspectors, the major case managers with the OPP. We're just working on a mutual time that we can all sit down, the 3 of us, and can get kind of an overview. Because a lot of this happened during my time when I wasn't here, so I just like to get brought up to speed so our interests are represented from our service. So that's in the works now. Significant ODSP fraud, over $200,000 suspects been identified. There was an assault that occurred at a local restaurant and then turned into an IPV investigation where the male fled and sustained an injury. Chief MP responded to that. Thank God the injury was not injury or serious in nature, so no SIU's involvement was required. Sudden death, to assist a coroner identifying the remains, not suspicious. For a community service officer report for July, due to staff shortage and stuff, he's been really good to move his schedule around and assist with frontline on many occasions. He's made attendance at the situation table and with big brothers and big sisters. Was out and about for Canada Day festivities, as well as a bike rodeo presentation with the Kinsman Club. There was a launch of a positive ticketing program with the help of Crime Stoppers and Circle K. And this is a program that, for those who don't know, where the officer is able to go through it in the community, and when they see kids driving bikes with helmets and have the proper safety equipment and stuff, they actually issue them a free Froster coupon stuff, and just kind of a positive interaction as opposed to it as a more like heavy enforcement action for those types of things. So very, very positive. Attended lunch at Hanley Hall and attended the We Are Kids youth group, and continuing on with the radar and LiDAR recertifications for HTA training. Community service for August, a lot of road coverage again, obviously to cover off shortage on our front line for the summer months. Attended a barbecue hosted by Circle K, and continuing with that radar and LiDAR recertifications, and working in the property room to get it cleaned up. This next one here, last at a glance, obviously we're very proud to help escort Brooke and Brittany Henderson while they're in Smith Falls. It was a positive turnout. Constable Hart seen here with at a soccer tournament at Lower Reach Park, again engaging with the community and the kids. and obviously continuing on with the bike rodeo presentations through Kinsman and other sponsors. One thing I think, yes, this is something that's new, and we're very proud of it. It goes along with the diversity plan that we spoke about earlier, the Lanark County Female First Responders Camp, which is being held this October 18th and 19th, and it's a 2-day camp, as you can see, for females in the area to gain experience in the world of firefighting, law enforcement, paramedic services. So I believe we have appointed Ashley Farrier
Yep.
to be part of that. So this will be one of her first things to do for us, and we're really excited about that. Hopefully we'll generate a really good turnout. So that's something we can brief you on at our next meeting and how that goes. Just quickly, our business quarterly plan report for April and June. Overall, 216 vehicle stops, 60 hours total for that time period for foot patrol, 16 hours of bike patrol, 40 hours were spent at the schools, and calls for service were about 2,180 for that time period, April to June. And our Health IM quarterly report, call volume at 83 calls, 19% apprehension rate, and the average wait time for the officers at the hospital to deal with that was about 1 hour and 30 minutes. 4 of those calls which exceeded 3 hours wait time. So, pending any questions from the board, that's the report.
Questions or comments? Thank you for comprehensive updates.
Yes.
Okay, I guess that's it for our agenda. Our next meeting is scheduled for October 16th, 8 o'clock, same place, same time. Motion for adjournment, moved by Chris and seconded by Chris. All in favor? We stand adjourned. Stand adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, we're not off camera yet, so. Yeah, I just.